Hi, I'm Lisette Jacobson, host of the Black, Brown, and Bilingue podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Coming up on episode 221 of the House of EdTech, I am going to ask you a question. What exactly is your role in a world that is loaded with AI? I've got some great Chrome extensions I want to share. Canva had a big announcement this week, and we're going to unpack that. I've got the House of EdTech VIP, and my featured content today is a great conversation with Frank Bouchard, one of the co-founders of Wipebook. So we're going to talk about eco-friendly and cost-effective education technology. Strike up the band. Welcome to the House of EdTech. My name is Chris Nesi. The House of EdTech launched in 2014, giving me the opportunity to speak with teachers, leaders, and creators so you can more effectively integrate technology, strengthen your pedagogy, and have more confidence in your classroom and school so you can make an impact. Get involved with the podcast by visiting my website, chrisnesi.com. Using technology isn't difficult, and this is where it begins. This is the House of EdTech. And welcome back to another episode of the podcast. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. If you are brand new to what I do here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you've decided to make this podcast a part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. And this is going to be a very fun episode because, as I just said, this episode is packed wall to wall, ear to ear with value. And I know I shouldn't do this, but get ready to share this episode on Twitter, on Instagram, post about it on your potty, PD, in your faculty bathroom. This is a good one. And everything I talk about, all the links, anything you might need, go out to my website, chrisnesi.com/221, as in episode 221. And that's like that for every episode. All right, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get right into this episode. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, and that is my conversation with Frank Bouchard, the co-founder of Wipebook. And joining me now for the featured content here on episode 221 is the co-founder of Wipebook, Frank Bouchard. Frank, welcome to the House of EdTech.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here.
How did you found this company? Where did the idea come from? Give me a little bit of the history.
Yeah, kind of a funny story. I was a student in university, and I'm an engineer, and as an engineer, you do a lot of math, and I'm not that great at math. I make a lot of mistakes, and I was doing a lot of homework on overhead transparencies because I just hated wasting paper. So, I would go through stacks and stacks of lined paper, and then I just said, I'm just going to write on overhead transparencies. And then finally, I bound them all together, created this notebook that was kind of reusable and erasable. And that was kind of like the first idea. And then I did a master's in engineering management and took an entrepreneurship class. And the prof kind of said, hey, does anybody have any cool ideas that they'd like to try and try to validate if there's a market for it? And I had my little erasable notebook with me at the time. And I said, hey, this could be a cool idea. So we kind of used the course as a way to kind of validate that we had an idea for this thing and that it was going to work. And we then put it on Kickstarter and ended up, raising like $500,000 in 30 days, as a class project. So that's what really kickstarted the company. And that's kind of how the idea started.
Can you, again, I'm a history teacher by day, as my audience knows. So a little bit more into the history. What was this very first iteration made out of? Like, how did you make it?
Yeah, it was literally just like overhead transparencies that were sandwiched together with like a lined sheet of paper, just taped on the edges and just bound in a spiral binding. And I would lug this, to all my class. I would take my notes on this thing. The problem though is like I was kind of seen as this weird guy because if anybody's written on with overhead transparencies, they get all over your hands. So my hands were constantly multicolored everywhere I went. Yeah, that was like the first version. And then over the years, we kind of iterated and, made our dry erase version. And then some of the school boards were saying, hey, could you make like a really big giant version? Because we're wasting a ton of like flip chart paper. And that's when we came up with the Wipebook flip charts, which are really just a dry erase pack of flip chart sheets that you just put all over the walls and get students to just, socially problem solve together in a really fun and dynamic.
Prior to getting into the education space, and you just kind of alluded to this, were you just primarily servicing, businesses and I guess corporate boardrooms who were interested in having this type of portable dry erase technology?
We were actually just like, we figured, we're engineering students and there's probably other engineering students or students in university that would probably, really love a product like this. So we actually started tackling students who were training in like technical fields like engineering or computer science or math, because those are the ones that traditionally use whiteboards quite a bit, and having their own personal whiteboard at your fingertips is probably a very cool to have. So we went in that direction, and then that kind of evolved into just targeting IT professionals, software developers, really anybody who uses or needs a whiteboard on a daily basis. So really we were just selling on our website as an e-commerce store for individuals who just wanted to purchase them directly. And then we got into big box retail. We went on the equivalent of Shark Tank in Canada, and that opened up a bunch of big box retail opportunities in Walmart and Costco. And then we just kind of evolved and started selling to school districts over the years, and that's kind of how it materialized.
Now, again, so you guys were kind enough to give me one of these large flip charts. So I've got 10 of these great pages. They're double-sided. It's plain whiteboard looking on one side. It's got the dotted grid on the other, which is great for math and really anything where you need a little support for your lines and, writing. And I've seen some teachers who, they go all over the place with the markers. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen over your time with Wipebook in terms of how teachers are really using it? What are some great examples that you've seen and teachers have shared with you? And if you could consider all grade levels, kindergarten through high school, what are you seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what really picked up a lot of traction in the last couple of years is a framework called Building Thinking Classrooms, specifically in mathematics classrooms, where the whole premise is, let's get students, thinking, doing, let's get them out of their desks and problem solving in small teams on whiteboards. And one of the things was, having whiteboards in your classroom is not always obvious. I mean, a lot of classrooms are stuck with chalkboards, or they have one little smart board. So for us, we just saw a lot of teachers, utilizing our products to just, create this classroom that's just filled with whiteboard. So then their students can actually go and, feel more comfortable problem solving in small teams. It's way more fun. It's way more engaging. They try more, they risk more. They know that if they make a mistake, they can just wipe it clean and it's not a big deal. Whereas if they were writing something in, pen or pencil in their notebooks, there's a little bit more friction about, am I going to attempt it? So yeah, the Thinking Classrooms framework was really a catalyst for a lot of the work being done in math classroom products.
Now, math is not the only place where we can use dry erase boards, and I'll kind of segue into some of the products that you guys offer. So we talked about the flip chart, but that's not the only way that you offer the Wipebook technology. No. So what else is available for people who don't know?
Absolutely. So there's a kind of a range of different products. So like I mentioned previously, we started with our original notebooks. So that's kind of like your personal own tool. And then we went into the flip charts, which are giant flip chart sheets. And that's really conducive for group work or, setting up a whole classroom with a ton of whiteboard surface area. And then we also have like the workbooks, which are really just like, if you've ever seen those little 8.5 by 11 slate whiteboards, yes, that students will use in a classroom to do individual type of work. Well, we have our own version, which is really like it's like a little workbook that folds over. A lot of educators will hole punch them and put them in binders. And when it's time to kind of work out an activity, they'll pull them out and then work. And it's nice because it has both graph, ruled, and blank pages. So you have that kind of variety. And then we also have like a little mini version of our flip charts too in a heavy duty stock. Our products are made out of paper. So, you got to treat them like a sheet of paper, but we do have a synthetic paper that's tear-proof. It's a little bit more expensive, but we have a mini version of our flip charts in the tear-proof paper, and we have larger versions. So we do have like a wide range of different kind of product form factors and use cases depending on what the scenario.
And I can share with you who's listening that, again, from my experience using this, again, a couple of years ago, I collaborated with Wipebook, and I also have a couple of the smaller notebooks that you're talking about. And now I've got the big flip charts, and they work with you guys sell specific pens that you can use in the notebooks. But like on the big flip chart, I can use those pens. I can use my regular Expo markers or any dry erase marker. So that's really nice that it's not so proprietary that you have to have special markers, because everybody's got their Expo markers.
Absolutely. I mean, we just piggybacked right on conventional products. We didn't want to get into the pen business. We're in the paper business. So really, we want our products to be like a conventional whiteboard. So you could use any kind of markers. And that was really, to finesse that erasability on all of our sheets. There was a lot of chemistry involved to try to get it just right. So it does act like a whiteboard, because you do see a lot of those products where it's literally just like plastic. You write on it with a dry erase marker, but it doesn't really erase, perfectly like a whiteboard. But our products, we're really proud of what we're able to kind of come up with, because it really does feel like a real whiteboard, but it's made out of paper.
It does. So again, having the big flip charts in my room, which is where I'm recording this at school for those who want to know how the sausage is made today. It does. I've tried to write on things that are just like laminated. If you take, I don't want to throw 3M under the bus, but where, you've laminated a sheet of paper, or, we've all as teachers have made our own dry erase like resources. And this, because I have it hung on my actual dry erase board, because it's real easy to hang on the hooks I have. It feels the texture feels the same, except obviously it's flexible like paper. So yeah, I mean, anybody who is considering this or has entered the giveaway that you guys are doing on a weekly basis, or they've got the budget to invest in this, it is more than worth it. I can't say enough good things about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that for sure. I mean, I feel the exact same way. And one of the other cool things about all of our products is, for the technology side, is it does connect with our Wipebook Scan app. So
you're leading me. Perfect. Good segue. So there is an EdTech piece to this. You guys have an app, and people might be thinking, wait, it's a giant dry erase or a small dry erase. How is there an app? So Frank, explain the app, because it is really cool.
Yeah. So just like your traditional whiteboard, a lot of times you want to keep, whatever you write on a whiteboard, and especially in a classroom where, you might worry, okay, how do I collect a lot of the students' work for assessment, down the line? We do have like the Wipebook Scan app that actually just allows you, just a simple kind of tool that connects to your regular cloud storage provider. So your Google Drive, your OneDrive, Dropbox. So it connects with all those services. And really all it does is it automatically crops the edges of your work, and then just saves it to the cloud. So we just make it really, really simple for, if you're in a classroom and all your students are working in small teams, and you just want to go around and just quickly snap and automatically crop the work and save it to a student portfolio or something like that for first assessment down the line, then that's something that you can do. You don't need to use our app you don't need to use our app specifically. It also is compatible with a lot of other apps that do that, because the products have been designed with big black borders around there to really facilitate that cropping on a lot of these apps. But our application it's an all-in-one kind of tool. So depending on what service you want to use, they're all connectable through our app.
And I just want to share my experience with that. So got the big flip charts, got the app, and I put the app through its paces at different distances in my classroom from different angles, shooting different notes that I've used in the last, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks using it. And you said it nice. I'm going to say it a little more tough. The app is stupid easy, right? Yeah. I connected it to my school Google Drive and connected it, which folder did I want it to go in. So I set up a special folder to, I called it Wipebook, how original. And, I've had my students in, ninth grade world history, put them on their desks. So we're able to spread them out. I've got 6 stations in my room, and I've done exactly what you said. I go around, I can capture what they're doing in their group work setting. I've had some of them also. I don't know if they're using the app, but they'll go into like Google Keep, and they'll just snap it into their camera roll. Exactly. But what I like about the app is, again, it's that automatic cropping. So even at a weird angle, it sees it, it straightens it out. It'll capture it in color. So whatever color markers you're using, you get the nice full color. And, then you can do other stuff with that. You can post it to Google Classroom. Again, once you have that image, sky's the limit as to what you can do to save it and share it. And that works really well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of teachers, what they'll also do is like, they'll set it up where on the projector at the front of the class, they'll be able to kind of rotate through, if you're doing one problem for the whole class and you want to see how different groups have done it, you could directly access it at the front of the class and just kind of go through the different, pictures of the different worked on different problems like that. So it's quite nice.
So we've talked a lot about the features that currently exist, the app that currently exists, and how it is currently assisting educators. Is there anything that you can share that is maybe currently in development, or something you would like Wipebook and its different products to be able to do in the future?
Yeah, I think, if you haven't heard of, ChatGPT and these AI
what is this, ChatGPT? No.
Well, I think they're opening up a lot of possibilities. We don't have any projects per se right now, but just being able to digitize, recognize the contents of an image and format it and take notes in a more dynamic way. I saw a demo this week that was like really impressive, right? Where, from a notebook, somebody just like drew an image of a joke making website, and, ChatGPT kind of just, generated an entire functional website out. So I think there'll be some really interesting opportunities where, a whiteboard medium is a perfect tool for brainstorming, hashing out ideas. But, having that extra layer on top where you can actually build things on top of it, I think will be really, really interesting in the future. We don't have any specific plans right now to integrate it. But, if I'm thinking what excites me about the future, how the contents of a whiteboard can become more than just a couple of scribbles. It can actually be something cool and tangible. I think that'll be really, really interesting.
Absolutely. And again, when you mention ChatGPT or any of that AI technology, again, we're in an arms race now to see who can come up with the biggest and the best AI. I finally actually just ponied up the $20 a month for ChatGPT Pro to see what I can really
Same here.
do with this. So again, I need to now figure out how can I take images and, play with that. But I like how now we can app smash our whiteboards and our whitebooks with the AI. So again, I don't know where the sky's limit is, but we're certainly nowhere near approaching it.
Absolutely. I mean, I could think of a student, for example, like working out a problem on a whiteboard, taking a picture, having essentially a tool like ChatGPT to say, hey, like, have you thought about doing this, assisting in that kind of visual type of way. That could be really, really interesting.
What's even more interesting is people probably clicked play on this episode and they probably thought, all right, we're listening to the House of EdTech and I'm going to listen to Chris and Frank talk about whiteboards. How is that education technology? Yeah. Well, wake up, everybody. It's all connected and it's going to continue to get more connected.
Absolutely.
Frank, you have been super gracious with your time. So I just have a couple more things that I'd like to hit on with you. And from that entrepreneur point of view, looking back on your time with Wipebook from when it started, when you were in university to now, is there anything you look back on that you are really proud of, that you're like, oh my gosh, like I did this? And you can't just say Wipebook in general. So
yeah, I mean, it's been a journey. We've been at it for probably 10 years now. I am like really just, when you come up with an idea that's a personal problem that you're facing, you always wonder, would this be useful for other people? And just to see,
does anybody else have this problem?
Exactly. And could somebody else use this thing, right? And, just seeing, on Twitter, for example, just looking at the people that are posting their experiences with our products, that just makes me so, so happy to just see how like it's actually having an impact in real classrooms. Students are actually, enjoying the learning experience because of our products, whereas previously they may just be bored, not focusing at their desks, thinking about something else. Now you can actually see their faces. You can see how engaged they are by using something as simple as a whiteboard in their classrooms, working in small teams. And it's really interesting. Some educators have kind of randomly grouped up students where you're actually seeing traditional barriers or groupings of students break down, because now you've created this community of people because you're working in different random groups every day, and creating that really nice community. So I think, you said don't say you're proud about the HoET thing, but I'm really happy to see that it's actually having a real impact in classroom, because I really love the education sector. I love learning myself, and seeing how it can have an impact on students' lives in that is really, really, really exciting.
And the fact that it's helping teachers and, making things easier, and in what might have been seen as I've used this before. Yes, we've all picked up an Expo marker, and this is just it's different, yet it's also taking it to the next level to do something like this. You've got the app attached to it. I need to put a feature request in though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the big boards, the big flip chart pages, is there a way could they be like somehow sticky? like a giant Post-it? Because I'm fortunate enough to have these hooks that are on my whiteboard, and I've got painter's tape, so I've used painter's tape to kind of get it up there, or I've had kids lay it on their desk. But I think of, there's got to be a way to collaborate between you and the Fathead company, where you could put the sports athletes, you could stick their bodies on the wall, or the Fathead thing, reusable sticky, where I could, you know what I'm saying? Can we do that?
We've gotten that quite a bit, and we've actually worked on a lot of different solutions. One of the issues that we ran into is people actually do like the fact that it's dual-sided. So because you have,
we would need double-sided sticky.
Well, that's it, right? And we tried things like magnets. We tried the sticky.
I use magnets too.
Yeah, and it boiled down a lot to a lot of times you just 3M little command hooks in the classroom, because they do have the holes. That seems to be something that a lot of educators, but that one still, it seems like a very simple feature request, but because it's not something that's easy to necessarily manufacture, even the sticky, it's very, you never see a Post-it note with sticky on both sides, right? It's kind of
that's true. People would lose their minds, I guess.
Yeah, and the stickies are so small, the machines to make a giant sticky are not that kind of available. But we're always thinking about it. I hear you 100%.
But
people would love
I think
to
you came up with a good viable alternative. So I have, and I'm going to try this when we're off this call. I've got the 3Ms where it's the sticky with the Velcro, and if I did the Velcro on both sides and had a spot where I had the Velcro that it was spaced, appropriately, I could do the Velcro. So, all right. Thank you, Frank. We're going to go.
There's also Scotch has double-sided thick tape. And that's another option. Yeah, that's another option that a lot of educators, because that one's actually reusable tape. And so you can a couple of options.
Okay. Before I let you go, and again, thank you I said this before we got on recording, and I want to make it publicly known that I want to thank you guys for sponsoring the last few episodes of the podcast. Sure. That has certainly helped me do a number of things that people will benefit from, because let's be honest, money makes things work. So I appreciate your investment in my podcast, and I appreciate your product. Before I let you go, last two questions. One, how can people get in touch with you, connect with Wipebook, and learn more about what you offer? And if they just want to learn from you and chat more.
Absolutely. The one-stop shop would be our website for sure, wipebook.com. We do have a page right at the top. If you are running any type of PD events, we will always be more than happy to donate some free flip charts for educational PD. So there is a form online if you are a coach or consultant that might be running PD, you can do that. Wipebook.com/House of EdTech. You mentioned it previously. We do have a weekly contest at that link, and you're able to kind of get a discount code as well by entering. But yeah, you can just contact us directly on our website, or shoot me an email, which is on my way as well. And always happy to connect. We love supporting the educational. We just see that it's a win-win overall.
Excellent. And my final question. So for the teacher who's listening or the administrator, and they've got the funds to invest in this technology, and again, it is technology. It's going to enhance some aspect of your teacher's work and your students' learning experience. I want to give you the floor. I will eventually shut up. Make your pitch. Why should teachers have white books in their classroom, whether it's the flip chart or the notebooks or some of the other products you offer? Why should they get your stuff?
Yeah, I think you just want to create environments that are super engaging for students to learn. And having a ton of whiteboard surface space in your classroom is one of the best way to do that. And your traditional whiteboard is just way too cumbersome or expensive to install, all over your classroom. So if you want to start now, start today, and just really get your students or your teachers excited, and try to just have whiteboards all over the place. Just buy a pack of flip charts. Try it out. It's relatively inexpensive and very flexible to just set up and try out. And you'll see the difference right away in a classroom that's just, doing work on whiteboards. Yeah.
Frank Bouchard, co-founder of Wipebook. Thank you so much for coming on to this episode of the House of EdTech, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you again to you, Frank, for taking time to come on to the show. And, of course, thank you again for supporting what I'm doing here on the House of EdTech. If you are interested in getting some Wipebook products, go out to chrisnessy.com/Wipebook. And good luck. Maybe you win something in their weekly drawing as well. Okay, now it's time for my EdTech Thought. All right. Recently, read a blog post from my friend and fellow education podcaster and also a member of the Education Podcast Network, Fonz Mendoza. He's the host of My EdTech Life, which you can find at myedtech.life. And in this blog post, Fonz discusses the growing presence of artificial intelligence in education, and he talks about the potential risks of over-reliance on AI tools. His post highlights the importance of using AI as a tool for critical thinking and meaningful application, rather than just a crutch that could hinder learning. The post emphasizes the need to teach students responsible AI usage, including awareness of data laws, ethical concerns, and digital citizenship. By promoting a balanced approach to AI in education, Fonz is saying that students can be better prepared for success in the modern workforce. I'm going to give you some thoughts, and make sure you also read his blog post, which I have linked to over in the show notes, which are a tap or a swipe away in your podcast player, or go out to chrisnessy.com/221. Okay. As teachers, we play a crucial role in ensuring the successful integration of AI in education while maintaining a balance between technology and human intervention. Not that we're gatekeepers, but you and I have a responsibility to guide students on how to use AI responsibly and ethically. We also need to help our colleagues by sharing knowledge, sharing experiences, and figuring out what exactly are best practices as it relates to AI in education. First, you should actively seek opportunities to expand your understanding of AI and its uses in education. By doing so, you can act as a knowledgeable resource for fellow educators and help them navigate the complexities of integrating AI into their classrooms. You can also foster a culture of collaboration by sharing your experiences and your insights on AI in education with your colleagues. This might involve discussing the successes and the challenges. It could also involve sharing lesson plans or activities that incorporate AI tools, and you have to be willing to offer support to colleagues who may be less familiar with this technology. Collaborative learning allows you and I as teachers to learn from one another, and that will allow us to improve our ability to effectively use AI in the classroom, and everybody else we can help spread it to. Experienced teachers like you and me, who have successfully integrated AI into their teaching practices, we have to provide mentorship and guidance to those who are new to AI in education. This support can help flatten that learning curve for teachers who we know are going to feel overwhelmed by the thought of incorporating AI into their lessons. There are a lot of educators out here who are going to, for some time into the near future, see AI as cheating. We have to help debunk that. We have to offer advice, and we have to share our experiences and our stories. You can help your colleagues overcome these challenges, and you can help them develop confidence in using AI as a teaching tool. We also play a vital role in promoting the ethical usage of AI in our classrooms. You and I must lead by example. We must ensure that students and our colleagues alike are using AI responsibly. And let's be honest, we are still defining what that means. So it's going to be a process, and it's going to take time. Finally, we can collaborate to evaluate and select AI tools that best suit the needs of our students and our teaching goals. By pooling together our collective knowledge and our experiences, we can make informed decisions about AI tools to use, ensuring that these technologies effectively enhance learning and, of course, promote critical thinking. We play a pivotal role in the successful integration of AI in education by actively engaging in professional development, collaborating with our colleagues, and offering mentorship and support, and advocating for the ethical use of AI, and evaluating and selecting the right tools. We can help ensure that artificial intelligence is used responsibly and effectively in classrooms. This collective effort can empower our students and our colleagues to harness the true potential of AI while maintaining a focus on that critical thinking piece, and that is going to make for a meaningful learning experience. And that's my EdTech Thought. All right, here's my EdTech recommendation. I have 3, count them, 3 Chrome extensions for you to check out. And here's a spoiler, I'm going to have 4 more for you in the next episode, 222. Number 1, if you haven't used this is kind of an oldie but a goodie, but I don't think enough people take advantage of it, so I consider this a must-have. Save to Google Drive. Have you ever found an article or image online that you want to save for later, but don't want to clutter up your bookmarks? Well, Save to Google Drive is the perfect solution. This extension allows you to save web content like images, videos, links, and other types of files to your Google Drive for later viewing. This is a great way to keep everything organized and in one place that is easily accessible from any device. Next, Compose AI. Improving your writing skills is crucial in today's digital age, and Compose AI is here to help. This Google Chrome extension enhances grammar checking and generates text using AI to autocomplete sentences in your browser, such as in Gmail, Outlook, Google Docs. Compose AI can also suggest ways to improve your writing and make it more engaging. And our third Chrome extension that I'm going to talk about today is called Privacy Badger. Privacy is a growing concern for many people, and Privacy Badger is here to help. This extension blocks trackers based on their behavior to improve privacy while browsing the web. It's created by the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and Privacy Badger helps protect your personal information and keep your browsing habits private. Check out these 3 Google Chrome extensions and make sure you come back for episode 222, where I'm going to share 4 more must-have Google Chrome extensions. And these are my EdTech recommendations. now it's time for Just Give It a Try, which at this point is kind of like more EdTech recommendations. And this past week, as I'm recording this and releasing it on Sunday, March 26, 2023, Canva just exploded with awesome new announcements. There are some great new Canva tools that you absolutely must try. Now, first and foremost, if you do not yet have a Canva for Educator account, you need to go get one. All right? Google Canva for Educators, use your district account, sign up, it's free. You get access to all of this awesomeness and basically everything else that Canva can do. So here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new tools that Canva released this week. Okay. There is drawing. You now have the ability to do freehand drawing inside of Canva. That is something you could not really do before. So now you can get in there. So if you're using a tablet, a touchscreen, you've got a stylus, heck, you could just use your finger. You can now do some freehand drawing inside of Canva. Number 2, magic design. Obviously, a lot of focus here on the podcast and out in the world has been artificial intelligence, and magic design allows you to, via a text prompt, have Canva generate your design. So it'll come up with a custom template, right? So whatever you can type up, it will then interpret and through artificial intelligence come up with a design. The example they have, their text prompt is Palm Springs themed birthday invitation. And then it gives you a whole bunch of options related to that. Staying on the AI train, you need to try out Magic Presentation. This will use the power of AI and take your text prompt and design a presentation for you. Okay? I experimented with this as a history teacher, and a couple of the upcoming topics that I'm going to be teaching here in the spring of 2023, I put in what I would like it to make some presentations for. And it comes up with some text, it comes up with images, and each presentation is anywhere from 7 to 10 slides long. And then you can go in and you can further customize it. But if you're ever feeling at a loss for, oh gosh, what should I make this presentation about, or how should I put it together? Certainly try to integrate some AI into it. The next tool is the Magic Edit and Eraser. This is really, really cool. The example that they show is somebody holding a daisy, and then simply by highlighting an aspect of the picture, you can change what's in the picture. One example that I did is, I may have talked about it here before, another podcast that I host is The Chase for 28. It is a Yankee fan podcast. I do that with my podcast paisano, AJ Bianco. And in making some media for that podcast coming up for the 2023 baseball season, I took a picture of Babe Ruth. And I drew this thing on Babe Ruth's chin, and I said, beard. And it gave me 4 very realistic options of Babe Ruth with a beard. Really very slick, and the kind of thing that if I was going to use Adobe Photoshop or some other graphic design tool, this would take a long time, and honestly, it's a skill I do not have, and I've been doing graphic design for more than 20 years. So anything that's going to make my life easier and I can really get some things that I'm looking for, why not? And if you're using this with students and you've got your Canva available to your students, there you can access all of these same tools as well. And next up, we have the Edit with Beat Sync. So if you want to do some video editing, you can add audio, and it's going to sync your slideshow and your video to the beat of the music. All right? Very fun, and it looks super easy. Haven't played with that one yet, but I'm going to. You can also now create animations with Canva, and I think this is a big one, you can now do translations, which I think is wonderful, especially if you're working with students who are English language learners. They can create and design presentations in their native language, and then they could translate it. Or they could do it in English and translate it to their language. You can create, as the teacher, you can now create resources and materials for different families that might speak different languages within your school and education community. So you have to check out these tools: Draw, Magic Design, Magic Presentation. the Magic Edit and Eraser, Beat Sync, Animation, and Translate. And that's Just Give It a Try. And now it's time for the House of EdTech VIP. And I want to shout out a new Twitter follower. Want to shout out McCrary for being this episode's House of EdTech VIP. She's from Waltham, Massachusetts, and she is a teacher, EdTech coach. She is digital literacy focused, and she is ChatGPT and AI obsessed by her own admission. You can check out a lot of her resources and connect with her on Twitter. She is at Alli McCrary 99, ALLIMCCRARY 99, and check out her AI resources via the link aiclassroom.me. Congratulations, Alli. You are the House of EdTech VIP. Thank you for listening to this episode of the House of EdTech podcast. Hope you had a lot of fun and got some value here in episode 221. If you're not subscribed or following, I hope you'll continue to make this podcast a part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. If you want to get the most value from the House of EdTech, check out the show notes for this episode. They're a swipe or a tap away in the app you're listening in right now, or go out to chrisnessy.com/221. You'll find links to all the resources I mentioned in the show. You'll be able to connect with Frank, get the links to the Google Chrome extensions, head out to Canva if you want to play with their new tools, and going to the website and checking the show notes is a great way to deepen your understanding of the topics and take your learning to the next level. I love hearing from my listeners, and I value your feedback and your perspective. If you have thoughts or questions about a recent episode or any topic related to education and technology, don't be shy. Email me, feedback@chrisnessy.com, or leave a voicemail at chrisnessy.com/voicemail. Your input and your feedback helps me create better content and improve the show. So I encourage you to reach out and share your thoughts with me. And I can't wait to hear from you. If you know someone who might benefit from listening to the podcast, please share it with them. You can easily share a link to the podcast on social media or through word of mouth. Your support helps me reach more people and continue to bring you great content. Thank you for helping me spread the word about the House of EdTech. If you want to give back to the show and you're getting value, you can help continue the Awesome Supporter Initiative. I am very thankful for the ongoing support of the following people: Jeff Herb, Peggy George, Dan Gallagher, Mike Messner, Matt Miller, Patty Reefus, Brian Carpenter, and Aaron Cummings. I lost a couple of awesome supporters since the last episode, and, I know life situations change, and that's okay. So if you come back, you come back. If you've been thinking about becoming an awesome supporter, consider it. If you're getting value, go to chrisnessy.com/awesome. The next episode of the podcast is going to be episode 222, and that's going to be the 2023 edition of the House of EdTech Final Four, one of my long-standing, ongoing episodes, coming your way on April 9th. Until next time, thank you for learning with me. And remember, using technology isn't difficult. Just give it a try.